Let's discuss the 5 transporting points, Ying-Spring points, Spleen 2, Great Metropolis. Location, Spleen 2 is on the medial side of the big toe at the junction of the shaft and the base of the proximal phalanx, distal to the first metatarsophalangeal joint. How to find? On the medial aspect of the big toe, palpate from distal to proximal towards the metatarsophalangeal joint until you feel the junction at the shaft with the base of the proximal phalanx. Spleen 2 is located distally to the base of the bone, which forms a distinct step and slide inferiorly to its outer curvature at the border of the red and white skin, the sole dorsum of the foot. Located in comparable position are bladder 62 on the lateral border of the foot, LI2 on radial aspect, and SI2 on the ulnar aspect of the hand. Middling 0.2 to 0.5 June vertically or obliquely, just below the lower border of the bone. Caution, painful point. For the action indication, regulates and supports the spleen, harmonizes the lower burner, and clears heat. Special features, Ying-Spring point, fire point, tonification point. Although this is the tonification point of the spleen according to the 5 elements, it is seldom used to tonify the spleen, as it is more frequently used to clear heat in excess patterns. In particular, it is used in the course of a febrile disease from exterior heat at its beginning stage to cause sweating and clear heat. It also calms the mind and is used when mind is unsettled against a background of heat in the spleen and stomach. Although this is the tonification point of the spleen according to the 5 elements, it is seldom used to tonify the spleen. It also clears heat in excess patterns. The febrile diseases from exterior heat calms the mind. Mind is unsettled against the background of heat in the spleen and stomach. Spleen 2 is the Ying-Spring and fire point of the spleen channel and the subject of somewhat contradictory statement in different classics. The classic of difficulty says that the Ying-Spring points are indicated for heat in the body, and indeed the Ying-Spring points of the 12 channels are usually the principal points to clear heat of the excess or deficiency type from their respective sangpu or channel. The illustrated classic of acupuncture points on the Brunsman says, when the spleen is deficient, reinforce spleen 2. Reflecting the status of spleen 2 as the mother point of the spleen channel, fire is the mother of earth, according to the principle of tonifying the mother to nourish the child. The classic of Jade Dragon simply states that spleen 2 can treat disharmony of the spleen and stomach. The spleen dominates the function of the digestive system as a whole, including stomach and intestine. Its transportation and transformation function places great demand on the spleen's chi, and in disharmony, the spleen tends to deficiency, which is why most of the spleen channel points distal to the knee have some effect on tonifying the spleen. This deficiency may underlie the patterns of spleen dampness or damp heat, either because impaired transformation leads to the generation of these pathogens inside the body, or because when the spleen is deficient, the body is especially vulnerable to attack by exterior dampness and damp heat. It is this picture of spleen deficiency combined with dampness or damp heat that is able to reconcile the different statements made in the classic concerning spleen 2. It should be emphasized, however, that among the more distal points of the spleen channel, the spleen tonifying action of spleen 2 is relatively minor, and its primary action is reducing excess patterns. Spleen 2 is indicated for excess dampness or damp heat manifesting as sudden swelling of the forelimbs, heaviness of the body with pain of the bones, swelling of the limbs, and oppression of the chest. These indications reflect attack by exterior dampness or damp heat, often as consequence of underlying spleen deficiency. Spleen 2 is also indicated for heat patterns of the stomach and intestine, such as abdominal distension, epigastric pain, vomiting, diarrhea or constipation, and sudden turmoil disorder. The indication agitation when hungry and dizziness when full reflects a pattern of phlegm heat in the stomach. The heat-clearing action of spleen 2 extends to the treatment of febrile diseases and is especially indicated when fever are accompanied by absence of sweating. Finally, spleen 2 may be used as a local point for disorders of the big toe in combination with points such as spleen 3 and liver 2. The Lingshu talks of using spleen 2 and spleen 3 together to treat the spleen. Dadu can infuse earth with resonance of fire, whether lightheartedness and relaxation when spleen becomes too self-absorbed, and serious maturity, trust, and expansiveness when earth has become cold and bogged down, the light and inspiration of the Shen necessary for the prompt that initiates intent into thought and form. A capital or metropolis is a busy place full of exchanges, negotiations, and minglings, such as spleen is constantly busy at our center. That Dadu can bring light and vitality to the spleen. As a tonification point, it reconnects the mother-child relationship along the Sheng cycle, bringing nourishment and support to earth, which supports all the officials. Great capital can tonify spleen yang, where there are signs of deficiency and cold damp, mental or physical lethargy, cold extremities. When earth has become cold and inert or overheated, it is hard to feel strong in the body or think clearly. Things become stuck in a rut rather than circulating freely or become agitated and clustered. Spleen 2 can help regulate the temperature of the spleen so it can manage all its relationship and transition with ease. Regulates the spleen and stomach and reduces digestive stagnation. As a fire point in Ying-Spring, spleen 2 is used to expel pathogenic factors, to clear heat in the early stages of fever due to exterior heat, and to induce sweating. In particular, it is used to clear heat and damp heat from the spleen or stomach. Those having vomiting, diarrhea, epigastric pain, insomnia, restless dreaming, reddening of the flesh or eyes, or to assist in B syndrome to loosen stiff, painful joints affected by heat. Empirical first aid point for sprain and fractures.